Oh, sorry, I didn't know this was recording. Good morning from Finland. This is the 22nd of February 2014. Uh, anyway, greetings from Finland. At the moment, we have a blizzard. We haven't had a lot of snow this year, but I have a snow machine, but it's too windy at the moment. I'm going to go out. According to the forecast, it's going to stop snowing here about 5 o'clock, and I'll go. I have a big snow machine which throws the snow. Um, it's supposed to throw the snow away from me, of course, but if it's very windy, it's sometimes difficult to avoid being covered in snow oneself. But I did actually buy from eBay a face mask, which I haven't tried yet. The idea is that it keeps the snow from covering my face. But anyway, I'll let you know about that. If you're interested, just ask and I will tell you. But anyway, hello Anna and family and Bob, and say hello to your dad and all my family, friends and loved ones in the UK. Okay, not feeling too bad, had a better night's sleep. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my auntie Chris, auntie Chris, who was the sister of my dad, who was Brian McDonald. And Auntie Chris lived in Crookham, and their house was, I think, almost on the corner of Crookham Crossroads. And she was married to Dave, Uncle Dave. His name was Kent. They had two children, Maurice and Graham. And from what I remember about family history, I think they were trying for a family for quite a long time without success, and then they adopted. And I'm not sure which one was adopted, Maurice or Graham, but shortly after they had adopted a child, very not so long after that time, and my auntie Chris, they had a child of their own. Yeah, so they had two children, Maurice and Graham. I went to spend a few months with them, probably about 1953, when I was 14, either 52 or 53 when I was 14. We had moved from St Albans to London, and my dad had rented a house, but he'd told the estate agents that he only had two children, two daughters. He didn't include me. So his idea was that I would be away at my auntie Chris's for a few months, and then I would be allowed home again. Didn't worry me at all. I've always been very independent. I've always been an adventurer. I've always been quite a loner. And but anyway, my auntie Chris was just the loveliest person that I think I've ever met. She was kind and she was sweet, gentle, very spiritual lady. And when I arrived there, she called me Bobby, which I was called Bobby then. And she showed me to my room. It was called the Blue Room. And I don't remember my Uncle Dave or Maurice or Graham ever talking to me very much. We always used to eat about 5 o'clock, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think, I don't know why, but I was pretty well, apart from my auntie Chris, I didn't have a lot of interaction with my cousins or with Uncle Dave. He had his own business. He had a little filling station, and also he had a repair workshop, which I think he repaired bicycles. And I remember occasionally that I would go into his workshop and watch him working. He wasn't unpleasant. He was very nice, but he was a quiet man. He was a quiet man. But I remember him quite distinctly standing at his workbench, dressed in like a long brown overall, and I'd watch him working. But anyway, my time at Crookham in Hampshire was absolutely delightful. They had a little dog called Perry. I think Perry was a little dog, white, probably a kind of terrier, maybe a Yorkshire Terrier, anyway, fairly small. And my auntie Chris, every morning, I think I went there in April, before the summer holidays had started. And they enrolled me in a private school, which is quite strange because um, it, um, they were all quite posh. All the boys and girls were quite posh. I don't think I made any friends there. I was always very quiet person, and I don't think I learnt very much there. But my recollections are hazy about. But I know I went to a private school until the holidays in summer. Uh, so during the summer holidays, which I think is 6 or 7 weeks, my auntie Chris every morning she would give me a bottle of orange squash and a packet of jam sandwiches, and off I would go with Perry exploring the countryside. And we were little Perry the dog and myself were great companions. It's the only time I've ever really bonded and been very close to a dog, and that has lasted now until the present day. When it's a great love of mine is dogs. I always love. But anyway, back to Perry and myself. Off we would go exploring, and Hampshire is beautiful. It's forested, and not far from Crookham there was a racetrack. And as a boy, I used to always have this secretive way of crawling in the forest and walking in the forest to be seen. No, sorry, to see but not be seen. It's just my imagination, you know what kids are like. I think I was 13 or 14. And this way we could get to see things which maybe were off limits or out of bounds. And one place I really enjoyed being close to was the army training course, where I saw, well, I think it was a tank training course, where I could see the tanks doing their manoeuvres and going up and down the hills and through the water. And that to me was very exciting. And also I think there was a point-to-point race course there, which I would go and watch the whole. I would go. I must slow down because I had a stammer when I was quite young, when I was about 4 years old. And even to this day, if I get excited or hyperactive and start to speak too quickly, my voice goes higher and higher, and then I begin to stammer. But going back to when I was 4, after the 3 months I spent in hospital in Bristol, having had the mass stroke operation, being away from my family for 3 months, I had then problems with my speech, and I remember they sent me to speech therapy, which involved, I remember, yes, a speech therapy, which involved dance and movement with other children, and I think it worked. But even to this day, I can stammer or stutter if I start to get excited and my voice goes, hi, hi. So anyway, back to myself, me and Perry, me and my little dog Perry, or it was not my dog, it was my Auntie Chris's dog. And it was absolutely a idyllic summer. I loved it. I'd come home about 4 or 5 o'clock, and I had never seen a TV before, and my Auntie Chris had a little TV which was only about 10 inches or so, a screen, maybe a 10 or 12-inch screen, and in a cabinet, in a tall cabinet, and she would open the doors, and we would watch programs like Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, and Watch with Mother, and the picture was quite quite shadowy and blurry, black and white, only the one channel. But we would do that every afternoon, Watch with Mother, and we would have an evening meal. And my Auntie Chris would also tell me some things about her life, that she was a spiritualist, and she was a member of the Spiritualist Church, and I think she was highly recognized. And she told me one particular story which stays in my mind to this day, that she was also a clairvoyant and a spiritualist medium, a spiritualist medium. And she told me, and this is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. I've told this story, but anyway, she told me that when she was in the séance and she was under a trance, in a trance, that she had lived in the 17th century in France. And as far as I remember, my auntie explained to me that she had never studied French at school, either reading or writing, but when she was in this trance, she could speak fluent French, and she also wrote in French. And she described her life in 17th century France. Now, I think that's incredible, but it's a true story. If I hadn't have heard it with my own ears, and many times I thought, was she a bit wacky or weird, or was she subject to dramatization or imagination? But she wasn't. She was a very level-headed, sensible person. She wasn't. She didn't over-dramatize anything. But anyway, that's what I remember. And so at the end of the summer, I returned to London and did my last year at school. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.